There it goes.
Yeah. Just let me know. Just let me know. Probably go straight into the intro and get us rather than waiting for the minute.
Yeah. It was practice.
Yeah, it was a practice run. It was pretty smooth. Mikey, that was a beautiful segue as well.
We're already live. Are going through right now. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hello. Wow, this. Hello. Time for round 2. What you guys don't know is that we've already done this once, but we didn't realize that we weren't live because of something in the back end. But we'll do it again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to DevHeads, the podcast focused on the ins, outs, and goings on of game dev, with host experience ranging from indie, double to AAA. I'm Jay, joined today by one of my wonderful co-hosts, Mikey.
Hello, everybody.
And today we don't have Tina, mainly because she's got IRL stuff to be taken care of, but we'll see her next week. She'll be missed, though. But today we have a guest that we've wanted for a very long time. Modder and YouTuber extraordinaire,
Shivaxi. Hello.
Thanks for being here. So
thanks for double introing with us.
Yes.
Before we when we did our dry run of this, Mikey, you gave such a wonderful intro for what and why we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to try and ask you to do it again because this is very much your realm. This modding and why we've got Shivaxi here. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, I want to give some context here. On DevHeads, we've done like about 10 or 11 shows at this point, I think. And one of the things that I felt like we were missing, we have plenty of this indie and AA and AAA representation, not just in our co-hosts, but in the guests that we bring on. We haven't really talked a lot about the modding communities and stuff, aside from the times where I gush about Hideous Destructor, one of my favorite mods ever. Outside of that, we haven't had a guest on that kind of like came out of that community. It's something that I'm very connected to. It's how I got started professionally in game development. So having Shiv on is one of those opportunities where we thought, okay, let's have somebody come on who can actually speak more to this, who's like more in the weeds right now and doing it with his mod RLCraft, which I'll let him explain here in a minute. So Shiv, like maybe you could talk a little bit about who you are and what RLCraft is and how you got started in modding.
I'm Shivaxi. A lot of people know RLCraft, I think, at this point. But in case you don't, it is Pain. It is a mod pack for Minecraft.
That's accurate.
Yeah, it's a mod pack for Minecraft that started just as a fun. It was for fun, you know. By myself, I'm throwing mods together and editing them and kind of creating a new experience from a lot of the awesome work that other modders, you know, had put out mods and stuff that you could use and were configurable to make something. And I ended up making something that a lot of people seem to like because I always wanted to have I always looked at the survival mode of Minecraft and I was like, this is such a great sandbox to kind of, you could do, there's so much more that could be done here, you know? So that's how I got started. And then I dropped the one video that kind of blew up and it took off and it was like at the right time when Minecraft was kind of having its like resurgence and
is that like the video we're looking at now, the beginner's guide?
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. So that was the beginner's guide video, which that blew up. That was 2019, I think, that I put that out in like September. And then everybody and their mom ended up playing RLCraft as a result. You know, you had PewDiePie playing it. You had even Mr. Beast played it at some point. You had, you know, a lot of big top creators. Everybody was, it was crazy. It was very overwhelming. I didn't know how to like react at that point because I was like, I'm just one guy doing my thing. You know, it was a wild ride. It really was.
Do you know how many downloads you have?
we have, I can actually check.
I'm looking at it now. It's 22.8 million.
Yes. Yeah, we hit the 20 million mark.
That's pretty wild. I would be overwhelmed too. Although I'm sure it didn't start there. That's nutty. It came out in 2019 or 2018?
Well, technically it had been out for a little bit. Yeah, like 2017, 18 is when I had uploaded it, but it didn't get any attention until the video in 2019. And that's when it took off, and it was like,
gotcha.
I think there was 500,000 downloads in a week or something. Which was insane to me, you know? So, yeah, that sort of blew my mind. And it was like, there was a moment of panic, right? Because I didn't, let's just say that, you know, when your work, your game, your mod pack, whatever, is exposed to 500,000 people, you know, there's some issues and bugs that come to light that you would have never even like thought about. So I mean, there was about 20 dupe glitches I had to fix like immediately, and I'm like trying to roll out patches as fast as I can, you know. So it was, oh man, yeah, it was a good time, but.
And that's one of those parallels that mirrors official game development just as well, especially nowadays. Like the holy shit, we're super popular. Holy shit, now we're testing the game on so many different people's machines. Holy shit, everything's broken. And we have to fix it as fast as possible because while we are excited and elated that people are enjoying the wonderful thing that we loved and we created, they're also really pissed off. So let's try to lower that a little bit.
This is a question for both of you, right? Because you're both, you know, have worked on mods that have seen an unprecedented amount of success, right? And been, you know, raised to this level. Do you feel like, from why you got into modding, because most of the modders I've met have got into it for the love of it, not to get big numbers or to, you know, try and reach as many people as possible. Do you feel like that feeling kind of changed when you hit a certain level of popularity to a point where you felt like you were responsible? You had to, like, you felt more responsible to fix those bugs and to get that stuff out quickly because there are so many more people waiting?
Yeah. Do you want to go first about that, or?
No, take it, and then I'll speak to
it. So yeah, I made RLCraft, and I even made the beginner's guide video for friends, right? I had a passion for, I've been on YouTube doing YouTube videos since 2008, you know, and by no means was I a big channel at all. You know, I did it for the love of it, the passion of it. So it was really fun just to do that video, and I did it for my friends. This was RLCraft started as a zip file that I uploaded to Google Drive because CurseForge wasn't a thing yet, or I didn't know it was a thing.
Wow.
So like I was sending it like manually to friends so that we could just play, and they didn't know how to play because it was there was just a lot. It was very in depth, and I was like, well, I really should make a guide for my friends to help them get started, and that's where the beginner's guide came in. But yeah, there was, I would say there was a moment, man, Fani, I saw Fani in the chat. Fani is one of, my developers now.
Fani?
Fani. He's aware of this time where 2.6, so Minecraft blew up on version 2.5. That was when the beginner's guide dropped.
Yeah.
2.6. You will see that there is no 2.6. There's no 2.6.1 or a 0.2 because we can curse on this show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I fucked up real bad. Okay. I released 2.6, 2.6.1, and 2.6.2 way too fast because I was in that like panic mode of like, oh God, now I do have a responsibility. I need to fix, it's broken. There's a bunch of people playing it. And it was really like overwhelming stressfulness. Fortunately I did like that kind of smoothed out, over time. And there was that, like, while there was that initial surge of like, yeah, like you said, you know, there was, you felt this like big kind of responsibility now. I have fortunately kind of grown and managed to take a step back and just be like, okay, it's still my personal project. We're just chilling, you know, take my time, do things right. You know, and the updates come out when they come out. And I think a lot of people are aware. I mean, we had about 2 years between 2.8.2 and the big 2.9 update. Like we really took our time with that. And And it's turned out for the better. I think it's nice to have been able to kind of like take a step back. But there was that initial like kind of panic, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of my experience with that. So
yeah. What about you, Mikey?
Well, for me, I feel like I got started in modding, I guess, for two reasons. Like, it was because it was exciting to me because I was a gamer, and also it was a bit of career exploration. I was in college. I guess the most memorable part, possibly like the earliest I get into it, and also like probably my biggest well-known mod wasn't anything like crazy like what we have here with RLCraft, but it was a Half-Life 2 mod called Underhell. And before that, I was messed around a little bit. I was doing the I was at the University of Delaware, and I was involved with the radio station there. And I thought, you know what, I enjoy the voiceover aspect of this. What if I kind of combine that with my love for gaming and did some sort of amateur voice work for games? And the easiest way to get people to agree to use me was to go to the modding scene and just do it for free. So that was Underhell, that was the Half-Life 2 modding scene. I did a couple different ones. I did some test recordings, I guess. I don't even know if they ever got uploaded, even never released, for a Half-Life 2 mod called For Hire, I think it was. That might have been the first. And then shortly after that, I got involved with Underhell. And then my role there kind of ballooned a little bit, where like I started writing some dialogue. I started doing like narrative design. I was helping out with the weapon design, like doing community stuff. I was so excited and energized by that because I thought, wow, like I'm seeing the other side, because I'd been playing mods my whole life because I didn't always have a great computer, and I could keep playing mods for the games that were, less cutting edge, less new, because I could run them, right?
Yeah.
And I think through Underhell, I kind of realized, wow, like this could be a real thing for my career. Maybe like people like my work here. Maybe I should try to go professional, and that led to like working on Insurgency and stuff like that, Black Mesa. And I think, I don't remember like a specific moment where I realized that, but I remember the experience of, I guess the best one would be like watching a Twitch streamer play your game and having like this many hundreds of people watching going, oh my God, like it's real. Yeah. Fortunately, I didn't have to fix a lot of bugs or anything because I was doing the other stuff. But I was able to enjoy and absorb that. So I didn't feel the stress that Shiv just described of like, oh, I got to fix a bunch of shit. I got to rest of my laurels and be like, wow, this is so great. That being said, I was doing like community stuff, right? At least a little bit. So there's of course some stress there, and I was still working on, like the narrative design stuff I did. But it was a really, really empowering, awesome feeling. And it's part of why I always encourage people who are interested in game development to check out modding. It's a fun way to explore this.
Dip your toes in, right? But in a way where you get to experience working on something you love and or can have access to, like you were saying, Mikey. And there's always been the thing where I've played games where I haven't dipped my toes fully into modding yet, because I do want to, because it allows me to stay in those worlds and those games that I do adore. And I want that. I want to be able to give more to the like that community, because I guess this is the idea of like, why do you guys feel modders get into mods? Because it's something that Tina was saying that she can't because she's not here at the moment, but I'll parrot it. She was saying that like modders seem very selfless, like they're just giving. They're not trying to take something or gain something from a wider community. Like their original intention is to just give the community they're a part of something to enjoy. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. I have a personal experience I can kind of share related to that. But I think it's very much just a love and a passion for the game. And that is how I first got into modding. So Minecraft's not the first modding experience for me. It would have been Unreal. Not the engine, but the game Unreal from 1998.
We're talking Unreal Engine 1, everybody,
right.
Single digit.
Yeah.
Right. So there was
digit.
There was the Unreal game. Most people know Unreal Tournament that came out in 1999, but before Unreal Tournament, there was Unreal, which was 1998 single player. As somebody's got the video of, yeah, perfect. It was single player. you're on an alien, you crash land on an alien planet after you were being taken prisoner to some random prison moon, and it's an unknown planet, and you're the last one alive, and you got to fight aliens to escape. You know, it's very classic cliche nowadays, but back then I was like, and you know, they were competing with Quake 2 at the time, and their engine. This was the big thing to kind of show and push their engine. And I got into Unreal. I think I was 9 years old. I think actually it might have been 9 years old, 8 years old or 9 years old getting an Unreal tournament, and then the next year was Unreal. Which my mom wasn't very happy. I was playing shooter games at that age, but that was my dad's side. So my dad was like, "Here, have all the shooter games. I'm playing Doom.
This is a rocket, son. This is a rocket launcher.
Yeah,
wow,
this is how you blow people up. You know, like, but anyway, the rest is history with that. And you know, Unreal is my favorite game of all time. And I modded for Unreal. They shipped the editor with the game just so that you could do whatever. It was super easy to just jump in and you know, make custom weapons or, you know, levels and textures and everything else. I say it was super easy, but initially it wasn't. And so one of my fondest memories was we were trying to figure out how to I guess compile. It would be called baking today in like newer Unreal Engine. Back then you just called it building the map or rebuild. If you made any changes to geometry, you had to rebuild the map. Otherwise it like didn't function. So if you tried to play, your character would just immediately die because none of the collision had like been reformed. So we would try to edit a map, me and my dad, and then we didn't know about rebuilding. So we're like, why are we just dying? And this is, I mean, we're talking like the internet days where we still had dial up and DSL. Yeah. You know, so there's not a lot of info out there. And I remember 3 a.m. in the morning, I get woken up by my dad going, "Roman, come downstairs." You know, and I jump out of bed and I fly downstairs, and my dad did it. He had made an edit to Facing Worlds in Unreal Tournament, the most famous capture the flag map, right? And he had modified the geometry and figured out the rebuild thing and was able to, and he was running around with his modified geometry in Facing Worlds. And just that was like so cool. I was just like, oh my God, we figured it out, you know? So
what really, a wonderful story, man. You and your pops doing that. That's so cool.
I think that, yeah, that's like one of my favorite memories of that. And that like really, I think, was one of the pushes that got me into I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to do this more. You know, this is my favorite game, and I'm able to make additions to it. Like, whoa. You know, it's just very kind of like a mind-blowing thing back then.
Games are like these, when we were younger, right? Games are these mythical things that are, you know, these super fun things that are you buy from stores and you play through, and these crazy experiences. And I bet being able to make a change or an addition to your favorite game of all time must have been such a mind-blowing and like enlightening moment for you, like a foundational moment.
It's funny you say that games were like a mythical thing, because it's true. I remember exactly how I thought games worked when I was a kid. Yeah. Okay. It's not something you don't I don't know how else to say it other than to say it, but I thought it was like a kind of a real world in a sense. The first time I discovered that you could type in the fly cheat command, right, and just go flying through the level, the first thing I tried to do was I opened up Facing Worlds and tried flying to the planet that was in the skybox, because I thought it was really there. I was like, wow. Oh my God, has anybody tried this before? What if there's something over there, you know? And then I hit the invisible collision, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's not real. Oh, darn, fuck.
Your dream, your childlike wonder.
Yeah, dream shattered. I was like,
against the bounds of the level.
Yeah, but it's funny, you don't think about it when you're a kid. You just think, oh my God, there's a real world here. Yeah. So I was like, it's just funny, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I had a lot of those moments when I was a kid, like, always now, and I think this is one of the problems with making your passions your job, and I do want to talk to you guys about that in terms of modding, but like game dev for me, when I, you know, studied game dev, taught it, you know, and now I'm working in it, it's in a way ruined games for me, because like I view them as textures and code and written dialogue and voiceover, and I don't view them as a world. I view them as their individual parts that I can respect and like dissect and stuff like that. And I don't view it like as a kid where like I talk about it a lot on Second Wind, but like Beyond Good and Evil is my favorite game of all time. And to me, like you said, Shivaxi, that world existed, and I thought that just over that hill. Whereas now I know that's not accessible. That's just LOD set decoration. That's an invisible wall. To me, there was another city over there. There was more game. There was more story over there. I wanted to get it so much. Hence why, for anyone who's played the game, getting the beluga and suddenly being able to fly in this world rather than traverse it on a hovercraft was that foundational moment for me of like, games are more. Games are bigger and more than just being on the ground. Like with what I was speaking about before, like have you guys found that as you've become more entrenched in game dev and modding, that that kind of wonder of games has gone, but has it been replaced by anything else?
I was gonna mention, actually, it's I totally agree with you there. It is like, I do see a lot of things as like, oh, here's an invisible wall, texture, asset. Oh, this is probably like a trigger box to set this thing. All right, I do that a lot. I can't help it. I'm so familiar with how games work at this point that you can't help it. And some of that imagination is unfortunately lost. But you know what brought it back, actually, was Baldur's Gate 3.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my God, that Baldur's Gate 3, I think, like, because they did stuff I had never like seen before. The whole experience of Baldur's and I haven't even okay. I have 200 hours in Baldur's Gate 3 and I'm not even out of Act 1 yet. Which is a testament to how much content there actually is, because it's not that I've just been sitting there with the game open overnight or something. No, I've been playing and there is so much. There's so many secrets and things to discover and explore, and everything is like perfectly beautifully animated and in depth and immersive, and there were things they did that I was just like, how? Baldur's Gate 3 really sucked me back in for a good bit with like just that kind of wonderment of fantasy and everything. Oh man, so good.
The detail, right? It's I had a different experience with Baldur's Gate 3 because I was making a video on it and I have like a certain amount of time to make videos. So I was like, I'm going to play this straight for a week and try and do everything. Obviously didn't even scratch the surface, but finished the game and tried to do everything I could. But it's that level of detail of my dev brain would go, oh, if they had infinite time and money, it would be cool if they did this here. And then I'd go and try and they would have done it. And I'm like, holy shit.
That is exactly there was
every
a clip
single
playing.
Time.
Sorry.
No, carry on.
No, there was a clip playing of me figuring out the water bottle thing. They're like, my group was on fire and I had this random water bottle in my inventory, and I'm like, okay, surely the devs didn't think about this, right? There's no way they're just gonna let me throw this water bottle on my teammates to put them out of fire, and it worked. And I was like, what?
Such a good game. Yeah, it's like, it's for me, it's like that childlike wonder got replaced with awe and respect for like the lengths developers would go to for those types of details. And I completely agree with you. Baldur's Gate 3 is like just the height of that. Like every single aspect of it is just covered in love and dedication, and like, I don't want to say needless detail, because if you have hundreds of those tiny details, 99 of them most players are never going to see. But that one that they do, they'll have a thought in their head, and this is why it emulates D&D so well. You'll have this thought in your head of like you said, I bet you can't do this, and you can, and that one detail might be what spurs you to keep going, what makes you fall in love with it and stuff.
Yeah,
it did reignite that love for gaming.
I still have the magic, the way I refer to it, and I feel like I've heard other people I've worked with. We use that vague or ambiguous term like the magic. You got to keep the magic. It's not something that's unique, I think, to gaming. I remember talking to a priest once, and he was explaining to me. I was in his office, and he was explaining to me like the significance of his like a lantern on his desk. And he said, like, that represents me. I have to keep the flame alive. I have to make sure that I remember. I don't just fall into the motions of sermons. I don't just fall into the motions of like administrative stuff. I have to keep the light of God. He's a priest, right? So he put it very poetically and nicely.
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I keep the light of God and like the reason why I do what I do alive within me. It's like a reminder. And that's kind of like, that as a comment, I feel like it sounds silly to compare something as spiritual and significant like that to video games, but that's like what I feel like developers have to do in some sense. They have to kind of remind themselves of like the magic and like why they got in, and I feel like everybody has their own way of doing it, or they have their own way of coping. So the coping example would be something like, okay, because I work on this crazy, I don't know, like a MOBA, I'm not able to enjoy MOBAs that much, but I'm really going to enjoy all these other things because MOBAs, like I'm just so overloaded with the work and the balance required. And like I associate it with my job, and like my brain just can't, I can't feel the magic there, but I'm going to care about it. I'm going to put the time in and I'll get my love of gaming out from like other genres. The way that's like one strategy I feel like. And it's not even necessarily a strategy. Sometimes it could just be an effect, right?
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I pull from old video games a lot because when I was young and I knew nothing about game development, I feel like there was the mystique of the magic was very pure. And when I go and I watch old game footage or I play old games, or even when I just like explore that era and play old games that I never played before, I feel like I can tap into that magic a little bit because I think about like how wide open and how much had yet to be explored. And it just kind of fascinates me in like I don't want to say like a historical way, but in like a pastoral way, something like that. Like just the way games used to be made and like how inspiring they can be and like how you could trace their lineage, all the connections that helps me preserve the magic. I think I'm sensitive to nostalgia. So like tapping into that sensitivity too helps a lot. And it's part of why I was so involved with mods and still play a lot of like old video games and mods to this day. It's something that that's one of the ways that I keep the magic, and also a lot of gaming with friends. That'll help you keep the magic too, I think.
100%, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's a battle, right? I think one of the things as devs that you can do to kind of keep that magic alive is, like we were talking about with Baldur's Gate 3, is adding those details that you're fully aware that most people aren't going to see, but might be the inspiration for, say, a younger gamer, might be that spark that either keeps them playing or gets them interested in game dev or just art in general. And a lot of the time, devs don't have the time to add those tiny details. And what I see a lot with mods is modders adding these things in, or making games a lot more complex to their liking, so that they themselves, not necessarily a wider community, but they can have those experiences, and then give them to the rest of the world. Is that something that you wanted to do, Shivaxi, with RLCraft? Like, add some complexity and some details that you just wished were in the game, and then it snowballed? Like, what was it like for you?
I really just wanted to deal as much pain as possible, like,
Well, you succeeded.
No.
You sitting in the corner of your dark room, fuck the world. I'm gonna make them feel pain. That was you. And then you got on the computer and started scripting.
No, like I said, it started just as a passion project. It was really just for myself, for the fun of it, and for my friends. I think, I don't know. I think in the beginning, I wasn't really thinking about adding a lot of cool little details and things for people to explore and experience back then, because I was just kind of making it for myself. And there was funny enough, because it was still kind of like in development when it blew up. There was a lot of things in RLCraft that I didn't even know were things yet, because some of the mods were so big, I hadn't like gotten to certain sections of them yet to kind of like refine them. But I think as time went on and we do more and more updates, I have I started to put in some good Easter eggs and other things that I wanted to flesh out. I mean, okay, Fani can attest to this. We revamped the entire fishing system and made it more like Stardew Valley, because I love Stardew Valley and I love the fishing in Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And nobody fishes in RLCraft. Nobody. It's not, you know what I mean? But it was something that I was passionate about. And now if that is a route you decide to take, the fishing system is really fleshed out and really cool and fun, you know, even though it's like really not what people play RLCraft for, you know? So it's like, yeah, we have started to do things like that now, I would say, for sure. Yeah.
So speaking to scale, and you said like when RLCraft got popular and when it started to blow up and stuff, at what point did you start to make that transition in your head of, I can't do this by myself. Like this needs to expand. Like, what does that look like? Because that's quite unique for a lot of modders, is having to have a team of people, right? What was that like?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a unique case here. But that kind of thought, I don't think ever happened.
Okay.
Because what ended up happening was people very talented, more talented than me, especially when it comes to like Java. Okay, I can't code to save my life. I write Zen script stuff, you know, to help with some of the things that are custom. But in terms of like raw Java coding, I wouldn't know the first thing how to do that. So people much smarter than me in that field actually approached me and was like, hey, I noticed this and that, and these are problems, and I'm a coder and I want to help fix blah blah blah. And I was like, oh cool, let's do it. You know, it was just it really just became like one big passion project. And I think we've stuck true to that. You know, I want to stick true to that. I think that's great. So it's like everybody who's like on the team, it's kind of funny calling it like a team, because nothing's really official. We're just like a group of friends now, really just having fun and making new updates and coming up with cool ideas and pushing the kind of like vision of RLCraft, and it's all just through the fun for it, the passion of it. I didn't like go out and seek like, all right, I need this team member and that guy, and
like make applications and like sort of stuff like that.
I think the only thing I really did with that regard, and there's a couple things where like we reached out to other modders of mods that we included, and then we ended up working with them to like, you know, hey, this would be really cool if we could kind of like, this is a little buggy right now, or it doesn't work well with this mod, so would it be cool if we can kind of like work together to fix this? And then we ended up working with the people that made, we've worked with Young. I know he's very big, and you know, he has Young's better Mineshafts, Young's better everything. Young is great. He's awesome. I met him at TwitchCon. We worked with the developer of Spartan Weaponry, developer of Ice and Fire.
I know that one.
Yeah. You know, so we ended up working with a lot of these devs just through just reaching out to me like, hey, it would be cool if we could do this. And that was really it. And then we did. I was going to say the one thing that I really had to kind of like commission, for example, was I wouldn't put RLCraft on CurseForge until I had the spawner control mod. Which,
for people who don't know, can you explain what CurseForge is?
CurseForge is one of the main websites for hosting mod packs and stuff. I think they were the first, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were the first website that allowed the creation of mod packs in an easy way. They have their own launcher now. It's how you would play RLCraft today, is by using the CurseForge launcher, and then you find it on their website and download it, and all the downloads and the files come from CurseForge. So it's like nothing is packed directly into RLCraft, well, at least not the mods. And then so it's kind of like it's a big hub and a launcher for hosting mods and stuff. There's like Modrinth and stuff now. I don't know if Modrinth has like their own like mod pack creator kind of thing, but CurseForge is where I started with all that. But
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, fine. I needed in order to put RLCraft out in a way that like I wanted it to be publicly accessible, I had to fix spawners. Okay, I'm sorry, but spawners in Minecraft were a mistake, because you can
people were farming them, right?
You can just farm them, You can just make a little farm and get infinite XP. And I made RLCraft to be very heavily kind of like XP focused, where you know you use all that to build skills and attributes and everything else and abilities. So it was like I had to make spawners a limited source, right, in order to fit the vision. And that was one thing I had to reach out to a modder and say, hey, would you be able to code this for me and for RLCraft? That was way before I had like a team like I have now, So
classic designer problem, right? You're just like a person working on a AAA, AA, or indie game. Like, there's a problem. What's the problem we're trying to solve? People are farming. It's it's something that everybody does. It's not very fun gameplay. It's boring, but it's the meta way to play. We don't want to like remove this feature because spawners, we want to have enemies spawn. How do we get around this? How do we fix this? And you found the person that you needed, and you developed a solution. You implemented it. You tested it, and there you go. And now I think it works where spawners like they degrade. I think in RLCraft, right? Like they only spawn so many.
It's after you kill a certain number of mobs from the spawner that the spawner will automatically break, and you're incentivized to kill the spawner faster because more and more mobs will start to spawn quicker if you don't handle it. Yeah. And the spawners also drop XP and loot by breaking it, but if it breaks on its own, it doesn't drop anything. So I mean, of course, there are still ways to kind of like farm and min max these systems, but that's always going to happen no matter what. It's good enough to the point where it's like I had thought of a solution and had it designed out exactly how I wanted it. And the coder went ahead and did that. That was Pyro was his name, and he did all that. Pyro Fab, I believe. It's been 5 years. But yeah, and he did it exactly the way I wanted. That was my solution, and it's worked. For the last 5 years that RLCraft has kind of been a thing. So it's worked out, fortunately.
Have you found like when reaching out for these either mod collaborations or even fixes of current systems and that communication, have you found that modders have been eager to help, or have some been quite protective over their mods and their vision? Because I would assume they've been collaborative.
Yeah, and sorry to piggyback on that. One thing I'm wondering, and this is more of a gut thing, but I can't help but wonder. Do you feel like they were more willing to help you because RLCraft was huge and successful, or was it because the Minecraft community is just very collaborative?
So when I commissioned the spawner control mod, that was 2018. It was before RLCraft blew up. Yeah. So there was no like, ooh, let's do it because of RLCraft's popularity. I think some things may have had an influence. Oh, Young is in the chat. Hi, Young.
Hi, Young.
What's up, Young?
I think after RLCraft's kind of blew up, I do think there was probably that was a thing that modders maybe thought of, like, oh, cool, this would be fun to just get in on the RLCraft and the popularity of it. But for mob spawner control, no, that was totally just the guy just was willing to help me out. He was very chill about it. He didn't even ask for any payment and stuff. Then he has all the download credit now, so like because CurseForge basically will pay you for the number of downloads you get. So he gets all the download credit, and every time somebody downloads RLCraft, that mod gets downloaded, he gets credit for that, right?
Okay.
So it worked out that because again I was nothing, nobody. I didn't have I didn't really have any money. I didn't have any popularity with that. So
you weren't nobody, damn it. You made RL co-op for Unreal.
There is RL co-op for Unreal, but that wasn't super popular.
That was how I found Shivaxi. I was on one of my mod trips and found a co-op realism mod for Unreal 1. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, he just did it to help me out, and that was really cool, and I'm glad it worked out. And now he's actually able to kind of get paid for that work retroactively. Like that's sweet. I think that's awesome. And it's a big thing with CurseForge actually that they even do that. I think that's great.
I didn't know they did that. Right.
Yes.
That's huge for me because a lot of the things I see with modders and why I see them as like mythical creatures in my mind is because most game devs I know aren't in it for the money, right? Like game devs don't make a horrific amount of money for their salaries, or or they're not in it for the fame or like the prestige of releasing a top tier indie game or something. But modders seem so selfless and just wanting to create a cool experience for people to enjoy, and it's so nice to hear that when you've reached out to people like Young or some of these other modders, it's just for me it just feels so wholesome, and that like let's just create something cool for us and other people to enjoy.
Yeah,
And do
I'm
it
sure
rather
not
than
everybody's
just
like
protectiveness.
Yeah, I'm
right?
sure not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say I agree with that, but I also think to some degree we're all just obsessed little nerds, like who.
True.
And I'm saying that in a silly way, but
Yeah,
I
true.
think yes, there's a kind of like community aspect to it of like let's get together and do it, but also like this fucking game needs this. Why did the devs screw this up? Oh, I'm gonna do it myself. Like I think that's a big part of a lot of modding philosophy as well, and the just like weird. It's like Tim Schafer said when he was on, right? Like, oh, some games just imprint on you. Through that imprint process, we also kind of get to a point where it's like, I really love this thing for some reason. I'm obsessed with it. It imprinted on me, and I want to keep engaging with it. But I already beat it 7 times. Should I beat it an 8th time? No, I think I'll change. Hold on. What's this text file here? Oh, I could look what I can do. And what's this editor? And you start making stuff. So I definitely agree. Like it is wholesome. And I mean, I'm an enormous mod dork, but also it's funny to me how much you can create by just being an obsessed little nerd, because that's what I feel like all game developers are too, not just the modders. It's like we're just weirdly obsessed with creating on the screen the things that we want to do, and sometimes to the point of like to the point of pain or unhealthiness. But yeah, that's an interesting aspect, at least that I feel like I've learned in game development.
Zik Shadow says modding out of spite is very real.
And Zeke's from Zeke. I know. Hi Zeke, what's up? Plays like a lot of like old game content on his channel, and then also is involved with like the Doom modding community more than me. I only just kind of like got into it a little bit. I'm testing some stuff, and those fuckers have been around for a while. And they're very obsessed. They're doing a lot of shit for the past 3 decades.
This before. What's that Doom mod you mentioned that was like super like survivally? Like that was so cool.
Hideous Destructor. Yeah, Hideous Destructor. It's a Doom 1 and 2 mod that, like the original 1993, 94, I think, Doom 1 and 2, that turns the game into like the tagline is Ghosts and Goblins meets Ghost Recon. It's like part simulation, part survival, part like ammo, like it's part simulation, survival, tactical shooter is probably the best way to put it. Where if you can imagine playing a Doom mod and like taking the pistol mag out of your weapon and then putting the pistol away and then individually loading 9mm rounds into your pistol and then having 4 different ones and then like switching between them and going like, I'll load this one into the gun. That's Hideous Destructor, and it's
now I see why you like RLCraft for Unreal. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I like, and look at the fucking games I worked on, right? Insurgency, Infamy, and Onward. I just really like hardcore shooter stuff, and I never been, and like modding is where the experimentation happens, right? I've truly never played anything like Hideous Destructor. Its core loop is just so different, and you know, when you're into tactical shooters and you finally find something that feels different, it's awesome. The vibe is also great. There's an interesting sort of background narrative to it too. Unlike most tactical shooters, every weapon feels distinct. Because right now in tactical shooters, we kind of do that gun fetishization thing, right? Where it's just like, all right, just put all the guns in that everybody likes, people know from movies and other games, and they're all going to act like assault rifles, and they're all going to do similar damage. And it's like, I like that stuff too, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to create an experience that feels like some of the other like high lethality aspect. You have to keep the high lethality of a tactical shooter, but then it also feels like you need to like distinguish weapons. You play Max Payne or Half-Life, all the weapons have distinct, clearly different designs, right? A role. But when you play a tactical shooter, they don't. This mod I'm talking about is just an example of like, oh, all these guns feel different, but they're also all still pretty lethal. And I mean, I could go on for a while, but that's just some of the reasons why I really like that. And again, it's just a testament to the experimentation of modders.
Yeah. So, speaking to our title, why do you guys think that publishers and to an extent some developers are scared of modders? In a way, like why are they getting them removed? Like why aren't publishers just letting modders get on with it? Like, because what harm can they bring?
I talked to Mikey about this before. I don't know really much about this topic, so I'll probably just let you guys talk about that one because I wasn't even aware like this was kind of like a thing. I guess if we're talking about Nintendo suing everybody, then yeah, But
yeah, Nintendo. Oh no, what's the publisher that owns Rockstar? What are they called? Take-Two.
Take-Two. Oh yeah. Well,
Take-Two removing a lot of mods from the online, and I get it from like an online experience and stuff like that. But there has been a history of, for me, there's either one or the other. Devs and publishers are either embracing mods and, in Bethesda's case, encouraging them to kind of fix their experiences as they come out, or they are putting a hard stop, no mods on their game. And I think it's fascinating to think why. Like, what about mods is scaring these publishers away?
It's a
what
little.
Do you think, Mikey?
Oh, sorry. Go on.
That's okay. If you guys go for it, Shivaxi.
Yeah, go for it, Shib, and then I'll win.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a little baffling to me because I grew up again with Unreal Tournament. A lot of the people that ended up modding for like Unreal ended up getting hired by Epic Games back in the day to work on future Unreal tournaments.
Yeah,
it's like how Gears of War and other shit was born. That they fully embraced. I was like, oh my god, this is great. And Unreal Tournament would do. They did it for Unreal Tournament in 1999 and in 2004. For Unreal Tournament 2004, they took like the biggest mods that content I would say content creators, but that wasn't really an expression back then. You know what I mean? But like modders had made and packaged it all together in what was known as the bonus packs, the Unreal bonus packs on CD, and then shipped it to stores in the Game of the Year edition. It was awesome. It was incredible. And I don't think I've ever seen any other game or company really do that anymore, and it's sad because I thought that was amazing.
You get you did. I guess on a positive note, you're totally right that it's a shame we don't see that as much. Doom, I think, had what was it, master levels of Doom? Zeke probably knows. Any Doom fan knows there was like at least one or two commercial Doom copies with an awesome subtitle that was actually just like a compendium of user created community levels. I guess you could look to the positive spin I would put on that is it did start to, after that, become more common to have people who were like, they made it big with a mod and then they got like a standalone release of the mod. Day of Defeat, right? Counter-Strike. Some of those just got straight up bought by Valve and then they got put out there. I'm sure there's other good examples too. There's, of course, as you're saying, like you're already saying, people get hired to work on it. But I mean, there is also at least that kind of phenomenon. I don't know how often that happens now, though. So it definitely shifted away. Yeah.
I want to say one thing about that is there's an amazing game called Alien Swarm. There's two versions on Steam. There's the original Alien Swarm, and then there's Alien Swarm Reactive Drop, which is kind of the re-release kind of version of it. Alien Swarm started as a mod for Unreal Tournament 2004, which was included in the bonus pack for the Game of the Year edition of Unreal Tournament 2004. And then those guys that made Alien Swarm were hired by Valve to make it a standalone game in the future.
Yep.
Alien Swarm is so good. It's so good.
The Killing Floor is another example. Remove myself from Valve for a second. Like there are other examples of other studios doing it. Killing Floor was a UT 2004 mod, I think, and then it got turned into a standalone. Yeah. So like it had like that phenomenon is good, but you're totally right, Jay. Like there's definitely a leeriness. I think the good news is it depends on the studio. I know a lot about like tactical shooter community. Like you look at Arma. Obviously, they hugely embrace their modding community. It's like it's super important to them, and it's probably very important to their business, right? Like I think there's a reason why we haven't seen like Reforger obviously exists now, but like Arma 3 was all we had for almost a decade as far as like Arma fans, and they like the Prairie Fire DLC that was all community made. The other one, Western Sahara, like there's other DLCs. So like there's still good examples of studios looking and saying like, okay, we're going to grab you and do that. And then there's the opposite. Then there's the people that are, and it's a shame Tina's not here because she could speak to it from the AAA perspective.
Yeah.
Where it's about protecting your IP, I guess. It's a lot of things, but go ahead, Jay.
It's also about, because I always like to try and think of it from a perspective of, I don't like to demonize one side, like, oh, publishers who ban mods are all bad and stuff like that, because I can see. So let's look at Grand Theft Auto for an example. One that's a multiplayer experience, that people pay real money to acquire items inside, for good or for worse, and someone can mod their game to effectively cheat in a way, but also like alter their game files. And I can see Take Two's perspective on wanting to just blanket ban mods in GTA Online, because kids shouldn't be playing it, but a lot of children play GTA Online, and you could mod something and have something, appear on their machine that is, widely inappropriate, or, harass certain players and stuff like that. But I also think some of the best mods are for multiplayer games, where you can share in that experience and you can do stuff with your friends and stuff like that. Like RLCraft being, the premier example.
I think it's.
Yeah.
Or go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I'm all good. Go for it.
It's a subtle and difficult issue. Like, it's not. You're right. It's not all black and white. It's not just like, oh, the suits are trying to suppress creativity for the money. It's not that simple. Nothing in life is. There's a degree of that for sure. Yes, there's definitely a degree of that. I think it's born out of that extreme degree. I think is born out of ignorance. Like, oh, whoa, there's these people like using our platform and our name, and like we can't control what they're doing. That's not good. Like, what if they do something that reflects poorly on us and they think it's our game? Well, tell a lawyer to send them an email. Like, we have to. So I kind of like, I understand like where it comes from in my experience. What I just described, like I won't be specific, but like I've been a part of those kinds of situations or conversations, or I've heard about them from other people. Like, that's like not too far off, I would say, from one potential way that happens. But at the same time, there's a way to solve that. I could kind of preach from my soapbox or whatever, but and of course I'm going to be biased, but I feel like there's a way to make it work. You could have a platform for it. You could control the platform and make sure there's no like inappropriate content. You could empower your community to control the platform. You could make clear that the modding experiences are not associated with you. Like, while I get the concerns, I think the fact that so many studios do embrace modding, and that there's so much content that's created from it, even just like goofy shit like Resident Evil model replace, it's Thomas the Tank Engine, like that kind of stuff. Like, it just shows that there's like a lot of value to it, and I do wonder if like the tables are turning a little bit and people are a little more open to it. That being said, like, I don't know how long it's going to be until we see like I don't know, like a full suite of like working with the RE engine, like imagine getting access to that editor and making custom Resident Evil 4 remake maps. That would be wild. And that's like, obviously there's a lot of work that the team would have to do there. It's not that simple, but I see incredible value to it, and I think it would be awesome. And I think it's there's ways to allow for modded content without having these sensitive issues come up.
Yeah. I think I think that anybody in their right mind knows that the developers that made the game, they're not responsible for the people that make mods or anything like weird or controversial or whatever. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? We're smart enough to know, like, that's not the developer's fault or even their responsibility, in my opinion. So it is interesting to see a lot of the, like what people are talking about, like Nintendo and Capcom try to like hush these people making their mods and stuff, and some of them are just like there was the wasn't there like a Mario kind of like remake thing in Unreal Engine that got shut down or something because Nintendo was like, wait, this is our IP, you can't do that. Like, that wasn't even like, it was just a cool project and they were kind of being flats about it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's a tough one because like I was having this thought you're describing that, Mikey, in the sense of, so I'm going to speak about this from a World of Warcraft perspective because I'm a big WoW player. But in WoW, since its inception, has had add-ons that drastically improve the user experience, be that with its UI or its interaction with bosses or, some of its visuals and stuff like that. And I want to spin that into also the question for Minecraft, Shivaxi. Do you feel that Minecraft would have seen the success it had and the longevity of that if mods didn't exist? Because I think mods in Minecraft is a huge fact for why that game has seen the longevity it has.
Yeah, I agree. I do not think Minecraft would have been as popular, or be as popular rather, as it is without the modding scene. The modding scene is keeping Unreal Tournament alive on life support right now. You know, it's 25 years old, that game.
Yeah.
And the only reason it's alive is because of mods. There are still servers, you know, for Unreal Tournament, and every single one has mods. There isn't a single one that's like running just vanilla Unreal Tournament. You know, so yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's definitely helped with the popularity.
I'd agree. It's worth saying to me in the same breath, though, that like Minecraft would still be the cultural phenomenon that it was, and the incredible success without mods. But wow, the modding is like clearly a good idea, and that's what peeves me both as a gamer and as a developer. Is like I know it's not that easy. I've been on the other side where I go like, I know the modders want this, but we only have so many hours in a day. We can't provide access to this, and this. But it peeves me, I guess, or disappoints me at least, that there's a lack of wanting to embrace the modded content or support it, even just from purely cynical and selfish about it. Unlike these selfless modders, as you say, Jay, like in a business sense, like people are making content for your game for free. What?
Yeah.
Why not let them?
Community engaged in your game, like, and if you're thinking businessmen, like money, if you've monetized your project, which most games have, modders are effectively just keeping your community happy and healthy and alive and circulating. It's like that. And I know most of it's good, right?
Yeah, and again, I know personally from the work that I've done, I know just as a person who understands there's another side to these great endeavors, and any work thing that requires money and time and teams and coordination to do. Like, I get it. It's more subtle than that. But at the end of the day, I mostly don't get it. There's a part that I get, but I mostly don't get it. And the best way I could chalk it up as far as the AAAs and stuff is, I don't know, like you have a protectiveness that you have, just like a leeriness, and the brand is so important, and identity of your game and your projects. Like it's so dangerous. Also, sometimes this is another thing that I feel like I experience, but wish Tina were here. I'd ask her about it. There's a lot of instances where like it might be a lawyer's job to look out for stuff and to do the outreach required, like, oh, sorry, you can't use that. And those things really blow up. But that can be from a misunderstanding internally. Like a lawyer might reach out and say like, hey, you can't do that. Where the team, if they could have talked to them, could have been like, no, we're actually okay with that.
Yeah.
That to me is another potential situation.
The legal department.
I could see. Yeah, because everybody's trying to do their job the best way possible, right? And it's your job to protect an IP. But what's protection? So like, I believe that mistakes like that can happen too. And again, it's not all malice. It's not all suits rubbing their fucking palms together, is my point.
Yeah. I think there's I wonder if there's like a bit of, I imagine a part of it could be the fear of like, say a mod project comes out, it gets bigger than the actual game itself, and now your game's associated with that, and maybe your view of the game and your IP doesn't align with whatever they're doing. You know, like,
I'm smiling knowingly.
Right.
Well, I can't go into it. I've been in conversations where it's like, but what if people like that more than the main thing? And I would reply, good.
Yeah,
fine.
Inherently, I don't think that's.
They still gotta buy the game.
You made a basis for, you know, people to take that and run with, and I think there's an expression of like all, like nothing is original anymore. You know, kind of like everything we make today is some kind of derivative of something that's come before it.
We're all standing on the shoulders of giants.
Right,
the one I like,
and I think that's inherently like. That's really cool. I think that's good that we're able to take inspiration from whatever it is and have that grow into something else, and something that is a unique in a way, or whatever, you know, like it's cool. So, but that's how I kind of view it.
It's also an idea of like thinking of it suit wise. oh, if the thing gets super popular and that's why people are coming here, we can't monetize that thing, like, and
Right.
that we're gonna lose money from that. And like, we've seen devs attempting to monetize, the goodwill of mods for years, like Bethesda famously with I think where did it start? Fallout.
No, I thought it was Oblivion or Skyrim even. No, not Oblivion. That was
Morrowind?
monetization of the horse armor. That was one of the original.
Yeah, that was
one of the
that was
original.
Horse
the
armor,
DLC
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But didn't they do a thing where they had a storefront for mods,
Yeah.
and you could pay a certain amount of money, and
I don't remember the
portion
game,
of
but
it
you're
would go to
totally
the
right.
mod
They did.
creator, and some of it wouldn't. And like in a utopia, I can see that being a good thing, right? Like, but I think a lot of the money was skewed towards Bethesda than it was the mod creators. Like, yeah, okay, Bethesda skimming a bit off the top, like 5% or 10%. Okay, I can see that, and like 8% something going to the mod creators. But I think it was the complete other way, and that tanked. Like, that didn't go anywhere. And I think, why is it with mods? Like, do you think there's a world where people are willing to pay like a decent amount of money so people can do this? Like, how do you monetize this so you guys can keep doing it? Is it through Patreon and means like that?
I think that's one way. I do see modders that throw out their Patreon and stuff, which is totally fine. I think there's rules against, like, Minecraft has some kind of like EULA stuff and whatever, you can't like directly sell mods.
Yeah.
Because it's derivative of their work, and okay. Sure, I think there's an argument to be made that modders who do a lot of work should get paid. But I think it is a very interesting kind of like cultural phenomenon of mods have always just kind of been this thing that's like, oh, it's just for fun, it's free, here you go. Even if it is a lot of work. The way RLCraft makes any money at all is through, like I said, CurseForge downloads. There's download revenue whenever RLCraft gets downloaded, and then when RLCraft gets downloaded, every mod that it includes gets downloaded. All those modders get a bit of revenue from that download. And then on top of that, sponsors, right? So we have, and I'm not trying to sell out here, but we have the Bisect hosting sponsor, right? That's the one thing that CurseForge and I think Minecraft allow is that kind of sponsorship where Bisect hosting is a server hosting company, right?
Yeah.
And we just, in the description on our RLCraft page, slap on the link and say, if you want a server, here you go. And that's really where any of the money comes from, is just that, sponsorships or download revenue, donations, Patreon, etc. So
you guys are feeding each other, right? Like, there's only a benefit for both of you, like the modders and the server hosting company and Minecraft in general. Like, you're part of an ecosystem, and I think game devs and publishers should encourage that ecosystem to be created and like feed it, rather than trying to stamp it out and be like, no, you must play vanilla. Fuck you.
Young point is that the Bedrock marketplace is a really good example. Yeah, I don't know much about it, so I can't speak to it. But yeah, I know I had a Microsoft employee reach out to me to interview me about RLCraft and modding and what kind of made modding kind of accessible, I guess, because they were looking at expanding the marketplace stuff, which they started to do now. It's not just it's not just maps anymore that you can make with Bedrock Edition, but now there's the whole add-on thing, which is essentially mods that like Java Minecraft has. I don't remember how it works exactly, but yeah, so like they are starting to do things like that, and you can sell your stuff right on the Bedrock marketplace, and I think that's all good and dandy, right? So
yeah, and I think Young's raising a good point also when bringing up Fortnite and Roblox, where it's like I feel like I was always a little bit surprised the backlash that that Skyrim, I think, monetized modding, pretty sure it was Skyrim, got, because it felt
the creation
like I do think that the Creation Club, okay, I do think that there's like the principle there is okay, like it could be optional. I guess you might remove a little bit of magic. I think you're right, Jay. The backlash was mostly about the cuts didn't make sense.
Think
but
so,
even
yeah.
then, like,
I could be wrong.
But guess what? Valve takes 30%. Like it's the cuts are big cuts, big chunks are kind of normal. I don't remember what they were taking, but like I feel like we might have to be realistic about that because any game that's digitally distributed, the storefront's taking a cut. It's
but
it's
consumers
not that.
don't think about that, right? Like
They don't exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but with mods, it's like it feels very personal. Like I feel like when Bethesda are taking 40% or whatever the percentage was from a mod's sale, I felt like they were taking that from Shivaxi. Like they're someone I know and I want to support rather than I don't fucking want to support Bethesda. Like fuck you. I want to support these mod makers. Like
someone in the chat is saying, because I admit some ignorance, like I don't remember exactly the backlash. I remember I was a community manager at the time, and they posted in the chat, and they're like, "Will Insurgency be asking for money for mods? What are you doing about this?" And we were like, "Holy shit! Like where'd this come from?" And
that makes a lot of what Huma just said, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Right. They made no effort to for people who are listening and can't see chat, Bethesda made no effort to confirm ownership of content before it was posted. Several high-profile mods of their content stolen and reposted.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem, for sure.
Yeah, so like maybe it was an execution thing, maybe it was a numbers thing, but regardless of what it was, as Young brought up, it's changing now. Like you can make money off UGC for sure now, if only for the ways Shivaxi just described. Sponsorships, Patreon, all those options.
And CurseForge gives us a platform, right, for the download revenue. I imagine I don't know exactly. Fonny would know. I don't know how CurseForge itself gets paid. I mean, I think they run ads and stuff. I know they have ads.
Ads is my guess. It's usually
I believe they run ads.
They run ads. I know they have ads on their launcher. Yeah, but it's very nice to have CurseForge as a platform to give us like the download revenue and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
that's cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
And speaking of that, like to gush a little more about things that are meaningful to me about modding, like, isn't it so nice to finally have I sound like I'm doing it. Eric just brought up a picture of CurseForge and like their banner or something. I sound like we're doing a sponsorship. I have no association with CurseForge at all. But it's so nice that it's so nice to have like ways now when you want to download a mod, you could do a prepackaged thing, or you have mod managers for games like Fallout or whatever. Like, God, because it did not use Shivaxi, and I know like it was not that simple. There was a lot of file extraction, a lot of cursed readmes, a lot of figuring it out. You've made some cursed readmes.
Well, you saw my RLCraft readme, didn't you?
I did. I did. It wasn't your fault, but like I couldn't get the fucking thing to run. I reached out to you. I DM'd you. I'm like, hey man, everybody in your Discord.
This is how we met.
Yeah. That's how we met. Yeah. Everybody in your Discord was like, oh, we love RLCraft. I'm like, excuse me, this Unreal mod that you made from 8 years ago. Could you please help me? And you looked from up there on your creator throne, and you were like, who is this one who speaks to me? And you DM me back, and we tried to get it done, and I never did. Like I couldn't get it to work.
Who doth beeth this?
There you go. Perfect. Good reaction time too. Anyway, that's the point I'm making is you young whippersnappers have it a lot better than we used to. It used to be a real pain in the ass, and it's still a pain in my ass when I go to play.
Like,
what's that?
I remember days early on in World of Warcraft days where I would have to manually install. I mean, this isn't a huge thing, but like as a 15-year-old, manually installing add-ons and mods and stuff into my WoW was a huge deal and was very difficult for me to learn. But now I can be like, oh, there's a patch out, load up CurseForge desktop, and just click a button to update all of my mods, and it goes done.
Yep.
Just jump back in the game. Like so good. I don't know if they do sponsorships. Hey, CurseForge, if you watch this, sponsor Design Delve. I'm down. Let's go.
And dev heads too.
And dev heads,
we'll speak well.
They usually come in a combo package.
Right on. And I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, and there's other games too, right? Like fucking I'm thinking of tactical shooters immediately, of course, but like Ready or Not, Insurgency, like there's integration right now. You could boot up a game and you can go straight to the mods part of the main menu right under options and click subscribe and you're good or whatever. There's the Steam Workshop, of course. huge boon there. There's mod.io, big props to mod.io. But yeah,
Steam
back in the
Workshops,
day, not to speak ill of ModDB, a precious place. That's all still great, but
I still have my stuff up there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Really?
RLCoop's on ModDB. Yeah.
Well, RLCoop, I remember that for sure. Is RLCraft or just
not RLCraft? No.
Okay, yeah.
Some of the work I helped do to get the Duke Nukem Forever 2001 project rebooted is on
you
there.
contributed to that?
Oh yeah, I did voice acting for them.
Fuck yeah!
I also,
Wait,
I mean, I made a whole
maybe
video
we should
for
explain
them.
Maybe we should explain what that is.
Okay.
Duke
Nukem Forever came out in 2011. It was terrible. There was the original trailer from 2001 that was like, whoa, this looks really good. The 2001 build of Duke Nukem Forever, which ran on the first Unreal Engine, got leaked, and modders went crazy. I'm in a couple Discords for it. There's a revival project now where they're taking what got leaked and finishing it because it was an unfinished game. And I was there like from the start, helping kind of like, I don't want to say I was a pioneer, but essentially I did help get those guys started, especially with like how to even use the Unreal Editor. I ended up making a huge tutorial video for them. I made tons of posts about how to do this, that, and the other because I was so familiar with the Unreal Engine. I dove into a lot of the assets and was like, oh, I figured out how to fix the flamethrower particle effect doing the dumb glitch that it was doing. Yeah. So
this is what I love about modding is like all video games are magic, and the way they work is like it's just like it's crazy that any video game ever gets released, and there's a credible amount of effort, and there's like a lot of esoteric knowledge and all these different roles, but nowhere is that more concentrated, more intense, and more like obscure than like modding. Because you go to mod, make this game, like, oh, we have to make Duke Nukem Forever again.
The video's pulled up, yeah.
No, yeah, Eric's got the video. Thank you, Eric, as always, pulling up videos and shit real fast. But like, nowhere is this a better example than like this game in the modding community, where it's like, wait, nobody knows how to do anything in Unreal 1 anymore except for that wizard on the hill in his bed who's still studying the scrolls.
I wasn't the only one, but yeah, I definitely helped them a lot with
there's stuff. So few, and you are reading your runes, and someone knocks on your door, and you're like, yes, I'll help you. And that, to me, it's it's like a testament to the preciousness of lost knowledge. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. I love first Unreal Engine. It's so fun, I don't know.
They still used a lot of the same terminology, right? Like actors. I don't think they had blueprints back then, but like,
no,
it
was UScript. Yes. There was no blueprints. But like, oh my God, I don't think the light actor changed for a long time. The light, whenever you place a light in the engine, it was like the lowest resolution torch. It wasn't even a light bulb. It was the torch back then, Yeah, actors, triggers, key points, pawns, scripted pawn. I have all these variables like memorized in my brain. Duke Nukem Forever stuff, so cool. The first part I think is released on ModDB, and I am my voice. I'm the voice actor for the intro, like the very first level when the talk show. I'm the talk show host. Is interviewing Duke Nukem. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you fawn over Duke? Are you like, wow, Duke Nukem, you're incredible? What's your character like?
It's something like that. I don't remember the exact lines. I'd have to go back. It's been a while now. But those guys are going ham. It's great. They did actually reach out to me recently saying they may need some more voice stuff in the future. So yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you're basically like gushing over Duke in the beginning. It's great.
Eric, do you have? You can message in the thing. Do you have Tina's pitch picture? I need to explain this to Shivaxi.
Sure, give me a second.
Shivaxi, no worries. I can explain it, so it's all good. For Shivaxi and all the viewers who do not know, usually we have our wonderful co-host Tina here, who at the end of each of our episodes, for the last little bit, presents us with an image that we then have to improv come up with a game pitch based on that.
Okay. All right.
And these images are usually batshit insane.
Okay.
and she has a one sentence, descriptor of what the image is and stuff like that. So Eric's working on getting that image ready. So just to remind, thank you, Eric, for sending that to me. For everyone in chat who's watching, if you do enjoy, watching dev heads or any content here at Second Wind, we are supported by you. Basically, 95% of our funding is all through Patreon. So if you do enjoy our content, feel free to jump over there. As little as $1 a month can literally feed Ludo, who you can see down there, who's sulking in the bed. So if you want to feed Ludo, get on there. So yes, Eric, I'll
and
be
ask
ready.
a question too for Shivaxi about RLCraft.
Yeah,
and we'll grill his
donations.
ass. We'll make sure he
Ludo.
answers.
They're just gonna ask when 2.10 is getting released, and I don't have the answer to that.
So if you guys want to ask
for the
when
donations first, Shiv. Okay.
if you want to ask when the next patch is, we can read donations. We can read donations first, or we can wait for more Shivaxi questions. If you guys have any Shivaxi questions, we'll read those out afterwards after we've done our little pitch. So get those in. It all goes to supporting the show and feeding my dog. So here's the image, and Tina's left us a little message which says it's a Sims mod that educates people on what diseases you can catch. Since as a mum, I'm always guessing what my kids have until I take them to the hospital. So this is a little bit topical. Not only is this a mod, but Tina is away caring for her young children who have unknown diseases, apparently. So
wow, how relevant.
So yeah, this is a mod for a Sims mod that educates people on diseases. So how are we gonna frame this? How are we gonna do this gameplay wise?
I immediately get Project Zomboid vibes, just from the style.
Oh yeah, totally.
So what aspects of Project Zomboid are we gonna toy with?
If it's gonna be a mod about like diseases, it'd be okay. I've been getting back into zombie games, so that's why I'm kind of thinking about that. What if we have, it's not just the zombie disease, but you have variants of it that could be, it doesn't just turn you into a zombie. It could turn you into a zombie with tentacles coming out of your face. It could be a different variant. It could be a flying, I don't know. Like, I'm already just thinking like, it would be funny if this took a zombie approach where it was like, which type of zombie disease or other, plague is this going to, right?
So they all have like specific symptoms, and it's your job to basically diagnose these zombie children and quarantine them
appropriately.
In appropriate
like
manner.
Maybe find the right cure, and you have to go out and find the exact specific ingredients and try not to get killed by all the other zombies.
Some you have to quarantine, and you have to do what you need to. What are you feeling, Mikey? What are we going to add to this disease-centric Sims mod?
First question I feel like I have to ask is, how do we feel about zombie children in the game? Is that like a sensitivity issue? We're okay with that? Okay.
It's a mod. Fuck 'em.
Oh, it's just a mod. We're not subject.
It's a mod. We can be shooting kids. We can be diseasing kids.
It's funny.
No More Room in Hell. One had.
I was just about to say, No More Room in Hell has zombie children, and they were more terrifying than normal zombies because they were fast,
and small, hard to shoot.
yeah. No More Room in Hell had already did like the zombie children thing. Yeah.
In my head, I have this image of like leaning into the educational side of things here. So like, if I'm understanding right, the mod was purposely made of The Sims from an educational perspective, right? Yeah. And then they just
I went the wrong direction then completely.
we want to throw gameplay in there. And the idea is like you add all these infectious diseases and shit, right? Like it's real world stuff and evaluation help. I guess that's the idea.
Yeah, Tina's specifically looking at it being an educational thing. So Shivaxi, when you said zombie outbreak, I imagined it as it starts as Tina's, the kids come to the doctors and you have to diagnose them with the chicken pox or, they have the flu or, whatever creative names doctors come up with for bullshit.
Mm.
And then slowly becomes a zombie game in the sense of you download the mod and you don't know it's a zombie game. But it slowly becomes
it's like a subtle thing. Yeah.
What's that fucking game, you guys? This is like a little bit of a spoiler. Is it like Doki Doki literature club.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And there's spoilers.
You don't
here,
think
but
it's a horror game, but then suddenly out of nowhere,
That's what I imagine. So like, there's the doctor in the office, like, oh, you have the flu. Take this and drink water. Bye bye. And you're driving home, and you're like, oh, I feel a little sick. I don't know what's going on. And then you wake up and you're, I don't know, like either you yourself or you're
start seeing flashes of
yeah, exactly. It gets real fast.
Yeah,
right.
It's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Well, because when you started to say like educational stuff, I was like, oh, this could be a cool like learning tool maybe for doctors to, or to be doctors rather, not actual doctors who already know all this, but to be able to identify symptoms and stuff. Because that's the thing, being able to know exactly what symptoms relate to what kind of thing you're supposed to be diagnosing, and you know.
Yeah,
those things exist too. Like there's a bunch of. Go ahead.
No, they do. Yeah, for sure. The Tina said that she wanted to use her kid as an example, and there was a second photo request, which was a photo of a kid with green pus coming out of his eyes, because that's what's happening to Tina's child. But Eric fears will be demonetized for putting that on screen, so we're not going to do that.
Don't show that.
Send it to me. I want to see it. Let me have a private reaction.
I don't want.
So my question here is, who do you play as? Are you playing as a doctor, or are you playing as a child? Or
I would imagine you're the doctor trying to figure out the diagnosis.
I think to have the Doki Doki inspired twist, you need to be a doctor, and it needs to start out like very not what's the word I'm looking for? Very clinical, very like very dry. It's a very dry
like
game.
Happy doctor sim.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor. You walk away. And then I don't know like what causes the twist. Maybe people like you go home and you're like, wait, why am I playing the doctor at home? And there's like stuff on the news and like strange biting attacks in the city or something like that. You're like, oh, whatever, I'm going to work tomorrow.
I like the delivery of the twist happening over the course of seeing a kid throughout its treatment of a completely different disease, in the sense of like, you have the flu, go home and rest for 2 weeks. A couple of days worth of gameplay come back, the kid comes back with worse symptoms. Oh, you don't have the flu, you must have, this worse disease. We'll treat you here. And then it progressively gets worse. It's like this kid you keep treating day by day, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Maybe an overarching story element to this is, why is it only affecting kids? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then that
only
could be
kids getting infected. Oh my god!
Well, that's kind of, if that's the topic, right. So it's like, what's going on here? That could be like a story arc kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's metal as well. Like that gets into the zombie apocalypse kind of mindset of, oh no, yeah, half of the population is safe because it's only affecting children, but our entire race is going to get wiped out because we can't have kids because they will just turn.
Yeah, it's fun to imagine all this. I just realized something for what I was saying about like, oh, this narrative where you go, everybody's speaking in simlish, right? So you can't really like understand people. So we have to have this dark tone, this tone that turns dark, and then wabba wabba, raza raza, like that. They're talking with the. It's called simlish.
The zombies.
Right? Yeah. The zombies will sound coherent. Maybe the zombies can talk to the humans, because zombies sounds just like simlish.
It just starts as like one or two words that are just random sounds you don't understand. You're like, wait, what? What did you say?
I understood that. Oh god, yeah. Okay, so mechanically, getting down to brass tacks of mechanics, we kind of understand the narrative through line of, we're going to slowly discover the zombie apocalypse through the framing of a singular child that then leads into more gameplay and into a zombie game in a way. But the actual diagnosing of the kids and the stuff like that, is this kind of like, look at a kid, see symptoms, cross-reference with a list of diseases, and it's your job to select the correct one, kind of like
maybe at first, right? Yeah, because again, it could still be kind of like you have to discover all the symptoms and then reference that with well, it could be this, but it has this one, so it can't be this. Okay, then kind of like yeah,
I agree.
But how are we going to change so I can see how we're going to deliver the narrative, how you're going to engage with gameplay in that first section, but are we going to have it so Mikey's now
chapter 2?
Chapter 2. Are we going to see a gameplay shift? What does the game become after we've had the reveal of, oh shit, it's actually a zombie game? That's good zombie acting, dude.
Thank you.
How'd you do that? That was great.
I just twisted my head. I got into character. I thought about, well, what's my motivation?
Yeah.
Brains.
You are now the zombie, right?
Brains.
Yeah.
Brains.
This was inspired by Conker's Bad Fur Day when you guys play that when you bust into the fucking you're in the war section and you find the two teddies who are supposed to be like evil bad guy teddies, and they're having a conversation about how violent video games can be very destructive or something like that.
Yeah.
What if you want to give this game to two
intelligent
people? Yeah, dude. I played it, like I just rebeat it actually. I was surprised.
I haven't played it myself, but I've seen plenty of footage and all the wild stuff.
Watched my dad play it.
Oh really? That's funny. Sorry, what was the question?
What was going on?
I get a little sidetracked. Yeah, sorry.
No. So gameplay shift, chapter 2, as you say, Shivaxi.
Okay.
What are we seeing? Is there a gameplay shift, or is it still about diseases? Is it now about finding a cure? Like
I would say you have like the chapter 2 would be like I don't know. Yeah, it'd have to be subtle, kind of like where it's sort of started to introduce like, wait a minute, something else is going on here. I'm not sure how exactly, thinking about it, like it would tie into what you're diagnosing. But maybe you start to, like there's new unknown symptoms that maybe don't reference with anything that leads into kind of like the zombie outbreak, and then you're kind of trying to figure out the source of it, and then also the cure. Yeah, something like that. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like details of how it could work, but that's something where you have to like sit down and
like,
script it out. But
there's two kind of ways we can go. We can go with keep the doctor in the hotel, not the hotel, the hospital, not a hotel. Keep them there, but slightly shift the gameplay to be more diagnosing and then eventually finding a cure. Or we can completely flip it on the head and have the game completely change in chapter 2 of like the zombie outbreak has just gone crazy and now it is about survival or
a boomer shooter. yeah. It does.
It like goes into first person mode too. Completely changes like the whole game.
Turns into a first person Sims game about blasting zombie children.
There's a lot of fun dialogue opportunities there, as far as like a boomer shooter protagonist, but he's a huge ripped doctor or something.
Yeah,
he's like
he has the trench coat.
All throughout chapter 1, he's wearing the white coat, right? This is a more classic. He's not in scrubs. This is like a more classic doctor look. He's like, oh, hello, being nice to the kids. And he's got this suspiciously badass thick mustache, but we still don't know if he is badass because we can't see his rippling arms. But then when shit goes down, Eric just put a picture of a hot doctor.
There's a character in Sea of Stars who is like very weedy looking, but every time they rip off their shirt, they become like 3 times as big and they're like super buff. I like to imagine that's what this doctor's like. They like doing all their diagnosing in their little coat, but when shit gets real and that zombie kid busts in, they rip that coat off and they become massive.
Yeah,
and they've got like shotguns like all holstered up on their chest.
I like the idea of a look. Now we're doing character design. We got to think about branding. We got to think about marketing. So it's a white lab coat. He's fucking jacked, and you can't see it, but he rips the sleeves off. So it's just all arms. He's a big hunkin' hunk, and it's boomer shooter style weapons and stuff. Oh, but here's a fun question: what's the melee weapon? Because the melee weapon has to be thematic to being a doctor, and then the rest are conventional weapons.
It's a stethoscope, but you use it like nunchucks.
Okay, I'm down. He's walking away.
Yes, that's perfect.
See, chapter 3 is when he like you were saying, every time he rips off it, like he just like gets bigger. Well, chapter 3, now he rips off the coat and his arms transform into just actual gun barrels. It turns out he was a robot all along.
Oh my god, and that's why he's
mothership. Immune. Yeah, exactly. How else is he immune?
Yeah.
In chapter 2, you get bit,
Terminator.
Right?
Just
Yeah. What the hell? Why haven't I turned?
Why haven't I turned?
He learns, and he's like, "Oh, my whole life is a lie." And he's
my life is a lie, shooting into the sky.
Straight Shyamalan twist. Yeah.
I like
how many
what you're
twists can we
describing,
have
Jay.
in this game?
Well, I think let's lean in, right? Like, if we're going to be not subversive,
not already leaned in?
twist. That's what's good. That's why I'm saying I like chapter 2's gameplay totally turning. It's the scope is getting insane, but it's a great idea.
It's a mod. We can spend as long as we want.
Stethoscope.
There you go. There you go. But as we know with modders, we might give up.
That's me doing my stethoscope nunchucks. Sorry.
That is a robot with a stethoscope. Very good find, Eric. Oh wait, Eric points out something good. We're forgetting the kids. Where is the education? Well, in the first chapter, you learn about disease, infection, whatever, and even a little bit of diagnosis. I guess in chapter 2, we have to teach people about weapon handling. So it's a boomer shooter with realistic weapon mechanics.
I feel like
Destructor.
chapter 3 is about letting go of your humanity because you realize you're a robot, and also letting go of the ones you love because you have to kill a lot of kids.
Jesus.
I got dark really fast.
Well, it's well, I think I would put an optimistic spin on it, where there's the temptation there. This is bad storytelling because we're only learning about this arc like way into the second chapter. There's some sort of tension, like, hey, doctor. Oh, we don't have a name.
We need a name that like implies that they're robotic, but
also sounds badass.
Played again, right? It's like a hint for. It's like a treat if you go back and play again. What's a robotic name that doesn't sound robotic? You know,
that also sounds medical. It has to be doctor. Doctor Shiv. Doctor. I
went to Mr. Roboto. I'm thinking Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Well, that works.
I don't know why.
That works. He could be a. Oh wow, Eric, you have nunchuck.
Zig says Roderick Asimov. Yeah, that works.
Did
you find someone doing stethoscope nunchucks?
My goodness.
Oh my god, yeah.
You're on point with these videos. For those who can't see, Eric has found a video of a man who is ostensibly a doctor. He's in a white coat doing stethoscope nunchucks. And right at the end of the video or the GIF, there's another guy that starts to fade in with these rad ass red tinted glasses. Right at the end there. Wait for it. There he is.
Hi, Kotlin. Kotlin's not one of my developers.
Hello, Kotlin.
I got them. We'll be reading out those donations shortly after this, guys. So if you have any more questions, you have anything we want to read out, chuck them in. We'll get them done. I wanna get as Krieger, from Archer. I want to get something
Krieger,
that's like,
I do think Krieger works in the sense that, like, I'm pretty sure that's German for warrior, and like as far as the boomer shooter angle. And like sounding like a sort of generic, innocuous surname, that kind of works. But I feel like we have to bring in the roboticness still.
Doctor.
Like I'm trying to think of an element on the periodic table that sound. I know it's a doctor, it's not a scientist, but like try to think of an element on the periodic table that sounds badass. Like
what
a metal
is another language's word for steel?
Yeah, like something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Multi-language peeps in the chat who
I'm bad at this. Yeah, this is out of my league. I'm so bad with words.
Well, what's a badass? What's steel in Polish?
Polish word for steel.
The Polish word for steel is tungsten.
No, I was reading chat. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Eric says steel in Spanish is, sorry for butchering this, Eric. Acero.
Got to roll those R's more.
I like that.
Acero. I don't think that's accurate.
Dr. Acero sounds cool. I kind of like that. What's his first name? What's a badass Latin American first name?
Keith.
Keith. Dr. Keith Acero.
Keith Acero.
Okay.
Doctor.
Dr.
Yeah, it's
Carbide.
first Antonio. Antonio's a nice one.
Antonio. Oh, you got a little alliteration there.
Alliteration is like, yeah.
Antonio Acero. Oh, yeah, because it flows. Yeah,
I like it. I like that. Okay, so Dr. Antonio Acero, who's from what?
That sounds great. It's so good.
What was it? I forgot. What were we saying?
We just needed a name for him.
A name.
Right.
Yeah, we needed a name. We've got our full arc. it's a tragic ending because we don't end the game by you finding out a cure. We end the game by you realizing you're a fucking robot and blindly firing into the sky.
By the end of the game, it just has nothing to do with the original story at all.
And there's no happy ending. You don't find a cure. You're not solving diseases anymore. It's a first-person game where you shoot kids.
It's an awful cliffhanger, and then
so
we're leaving room for
the
a
second
part
game.
two. Yeah.
No, but that's the best thing, right? Because somebody is gonna download, a Sero Gunfire Shoot Bang 2, right? And download that mod and play this first-person Sims game and be like, "Wow, this is great!" And somebody will come in and say, "Oh, did you know this is a sequel to Happy Happy Doctor Diagnose?" And you're like, "What? No,
Happy Doctor Diagnose." Let's reach out to the Nightmare Reaper devs and ask if we can borrow some of their art for the Boomer Shooter segment, because in that game you're in an asylum or something, so they got a little bit of environment art we can use for the hospital or whatever.
100%.
I think if there's a chapter 3, then it needs dragons, because RLCraft
dragons.
stuff.
Okay,
yeah. It turns out they were just hibernating this whole time under the earth, and then they burst out, and now it's
alternate take. Shivaxi, robot dragon from the robot. So the robot
but
that
they
comes
have to
down to
shoot
tell
lasers.
you're a robot. Yeah, out of the mouth, right?
Oh my god! Actually, what was the mod for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon? Holy shit! What a great fucking game!
Eric's already got a picture of a robotic dragon shooting a laser out of his mouth.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Eric. Also, Eric said this, and I love this one: Dr. Lucero Acero. Pretty fucking good.
Lucero, yeah.
Antonio could be his brother who appears in chapter 2. Well,
his brother started the zombie plague.
And it all comes back around. The dragons, the robot dragons that shoot lasers out of their face, were the ones they had woken up earlier, but didn't reveal themselves yet, but released the zombie virus as a means to take over the earth.
Oh my god,
it all comes back together.
Yeah,
there it is.
So the only one who can take down the dragons is someone who is part. See, now because they're robot dragons, is Dr. Acero part dragon?
Is he part dragon?
Yeah,
maybe he was the anomaly.
Was his mom a dragon?
Maybe he was the anomaly supposed to help. No, I think he was built by the robot dragons in order to help infiltrate and spread the disease. Maybe you've learned that you accidentally spread it.
Apocalypse,
but a glitch in your programming flips your morality, and you're like, wait a minute, this
exposure
is bad.
to a chemical in the hospital. I don't know what the chemical would be. Fried one of his synapses that was asbestos in the hospital. Fries one of your robo synapses.
And legalize asbestos.
The worst place to have asbestos. It fries a synapse in your robo brain that was supposed to get activated and turn you evil, but it never worked. So you're just you think you're a normal human responding to the zombie apocalypse. You don't understand why you're badass and your arms are huge, but you know it, and you took an oath, damn it.
Yeah. Chemical X, 100%.
I long to wake up one day.
I love that intro.
I long to wake up one day and say, I don't know why I'm badass and my arms are huge, but I know I'm here to cure kids of smallpox, so I'm going to work.
But I know what I must do.
Chemical.
There you go.
Oh my god,
it's so good.
Okay, see, this is why I love these pitches, because usually they start as, let's make a game, let's do something fun, and then they just evolve into just absolute.
Yeah, I'd rather have a game that just doesn't really make sense.
No, completely.
This is why I love Unreal Tournament. This is gonna be off the shot rant here, but it's like Unreal Tournament. They threw everything at the wall to see what would stick, and everything stuck. You have a gun that instead of a shotgun, they just shoot flaming hot shards of metal. You have another one that shoots razor blades that bounce around and cut people's heads off. Energy weapons. There's all oh my god. You have levels that you're just in space on a spaceship that's flying through hyperspace. You don't have a spacesuit, but who fucking cares? It's Unreal goddamn Tournament. It doesn't have to make sense. It's badass, and that's like that. I just love. I love that Unreal Tournament was just so off the wall with everything. Yeah. I want more games like this. Honestly.
Agreed.
Well, with the Boomer,
I'm glad that mods can be that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's definitely true. Yeah. with the Boomer Shooter revival, it feels like we'll get more and more of those.
Yeah,
Alright.
dude. Speaking of Boomer Shooter revival, secret level.
Yeah.
They have. I am so excited. Unreal Tournament. Unreal is my favorite game of all time. I have spent the most. I can't. There's not even. There isn't a counter that counts high enough to tell you how many hours I have in Unreal because it's infinite at this point. And it's such a shame what happened to Unreal Tournament because, Epic kind of killed it. So to see Secret Level, the new show coming out, and it's featuring Unreal Tournament as one of the episodes, oh my God. Somebody there's the video. It's insane. And like the beginning of it has like the whole intro flyby sequence from the game from 1998 with the same voice line. And you see the Leandri Corporation and you see Zan Krieger, the fucking boss robot. Oh my God. And it looks like they show signs. I'm going to get real nerdy for a second. It looks like from the clips we see in the trailer that it actually is depicting some of the robot uprising led by Zan that happened in lore history in the Unreal universe. There's so much potential with like Unreal's universe and Unreal Tournament. It's so sick. And it's incredible to see like Halo got a TV show. It got movies. Doom got a movie. It was bad, but it was hilarious. It had The Rock in it. It's great. It's a fun time. Tomb Raider got movies. Resident Evil got too many movies. Unreal Tournament never got anything, And it's like,
and here we are 25 years later.
It's about damn time. And I really hope, this is wishful thinking, but I hope it's the start of like some kind of like, just bring Unreal Tournament back, please. God, it doesn't get it.
Do you think
as
this
much
is maybe
attention as
that
it
they might?
deserves.
Right?
Yeah. Jay
Sorry,
was asking if you think it might be the case. I think is that what you said, Jay?
Yeah, like, do you think getting a Secret Levels like big budget episode of a TV show, do you think this is potentially Epic hinting at there might be more coming?
I hope to God. I really do. I think out of all the big like granddaddy shooters that like set the bar, Unreal Tournament invented alternate fire for the record, or Unreal did, where you right click. Right clicking was not a thing. You right click and your weapon completely changes what it fires. You had primary fire and secondary fire. They invented that. And it's like Unreal pioneered so much stuff, but it's just it doesn't have the reputation or popularity that Doom got and Quake got. And I think it's such a shame because Unreal is so unique in its own right that it sucks that it never, like I said, it just kind of fell off after 2007 when UT3 came out. That was it. There's nothing. And then there was the Unreal Tournament 4 project from 2016, but then that died when Fortnite came around because they shifted their focus. And I hate to say that Fortnite killed Unreal Tournament, but it kind of did. So I'm mad about that, but it's, I really do hope that this is maybe a hint that we could be seeing more Unreal stuff in the future.
There's space for it.
I think such a great franchise.
I wouldn't be.
It really is.
I mean, this is just speculation. I could easily see a scenario where somebody was just really, like you, really nostalgic for, and not just nostalgic, but like appreciative of Unreal 1 and thought to themselves like, oh, well, I bet Epic would like to be involved with this animation assortment that we're going to do, this show that we want to do.
I assume Epic had to give them
I'm going to reach
permission.
out to them. No, of course, certainly, absolutely. And they reached out, and then Epic was like, yeah, that's a low enough lift for us, and we'll throw something to the Unreal fans, but that's it. So I could see like something like that happening, but I could also see a company like Epic in the effort, at least for prestige and out of pride, being like, you know what, let's do something and let's have with Unreal again, and let's just Unreal the game series, and let's have this be just the first taste. So you never know. You don't know. These brands are so important right now, and Epic is really big and epic, and this is one that's powerful to them. It's in the name of their engine that everybody uses. I don't think you're going to have to go. This is just a theory. I don't think you're going to have to go too much longer without seeing an Unreal Tournament inspired thing aside from secret level. It's just the way these companies think.
I really
is,
hope.
is
yeah.
That's my theory.
I hope so.
Get a lot of goodwill,
sorry, go
right?
on.
It's all good. I feel like Epic lost a lot of goodwill with their older fans when they did the big shift with Fortnite and stuff, especially with like, you know, completely canceling Paragon and like the development of an Unreal tournament.
They took
They
down
lost
all
a lot
the
of that.
Unreal games as well from digital stores. You can't even buy them anymore.
Yeah,
which I think is absolutely sacrilege. It was your flagship game and franchise. How do you do that?
Yeah, no, completely agree. And I feel like they have infinite money now because of Fortnite.
Yeah.
So I feel like they could take a portion of their team and polish and make an absolutely gorgeous Unreal tournament game and just have it be we don't need this to make $1 bajillion. We just need to put this out to make fans happy and to like get some of that goodwill back. I feel like that could be on the radar, and I think that's just a benefit to us as fans, but also them as a company. Like, image and goodwill is a huge part of it.
I think I was gonna say something I forgot. My brain just farted. Sorry.
Was it about Unreal?
You can remember.
It was about Unreal. I don't remember what I was gonna say. Particularly though, I'm actually looking. There was some project. It looked like they were gonna try to release an updated version of Unreal Tournament 3. It was called like Unreal Tournament 3X. I don't remember exactly. But I don't see that on Steam. There was like a leak about that or something, and I don't think that ever went anywhere, unfortunately.
Was that Unreal Tournament 3 Black Edition?
Maybe that's
because that is on Steam.
No, that's released.
Oh no, never mind. It's
Black
not.
Edition. I think was just their like almost like their Game of the Year edition. But yeah, no, I really hope that this might introduce people as well to the Unreal franchise. You know, because again, it's not that well known. It does not have the popularity that like Doom and Quake and everything does.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited. I hope. You know.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
Priorities do shift. To say the last thing of it, and then we'll go to questions. Sorry, Jay. Priorities do shift, right? And companies have to focus. And sometimes, I mean, as far as the game going off the store, I imagine there was a fair reason for that. But I don't get it, and I don't like it. Like it's a shit. It's a damn shame. I wish I could ask. Maybe we'll have someone from Epic on. Maybe they've said it publicly, or maybe it's secret. I don't know. It's a damn shame.
Stated, yeah.
But I'm sure they didn't do it. It's kind of like I was saying before, right? Like it's not all suits rubbing their palms. There was probably a reason for it, but it's probably just not a good reason. It's probably one that they themselves are like, this sucks. This is bullshit. Because there's no reason to do it. I don't know. We
did talk about this where people suspected it had something to do with the lawsuit that they lost with Fortnite. There was like somebody, please correct me because I don't remember the details, but it was something along the lines of like they got sued for having like chat and voice on by default, and you know, like children were getting bullied and everything, so they had to change their protections for that and everything. And I think they lost the lawsuit, and then people think it was out of spite that they're like, well, fine, we're just going to take down our old games because those we're not updating anymore, and those have voice chat and everything.
I don't think they'd be spiteful about it.
Right. It doesn't. It feels like that's what some people said. I don't know.
If they needed to go fix them, right? Like I could see going back and fixing a 20-year-old game or like a 15-year-old game to change the voice chat is an ordeal and is a huge thing. It is a lot easier for them to just take it down. That's
and I think they were afraid of getting hit with a lawsuit for those older games too, which I think is just, it's like, to me, it's just so silly. I grew up at a time where, you know, like enter any Call of Duty lobby from 2006 on it. It's shit talk, you know, like whatever. It didn't bother us back then, but like, yeah, I don't know. Things have changed, obviously, and it's just like
things have changed for sure. Right,
related to the European regulations. I don't know.
Few donations that we'll go through before we wrap up. We got one from Dark Jackal, which is $5, and says, "I'm rather busy and can't hang out today, but in honor of Jay's Iron Lung playthrough, what are your favorite deep sea creatures?" Ooh, deep sea creature.
I gotta look mine up.
I have
I don't know the name.
Mine
the glowy
is
one. Is it angelfish or something, or it's like a no? Sorry, it's
I can't remember what an angelfish is.
It's in Finding
my
Dory.
favorite
It's got the big glowy light.
That's
on
an
it.
anglerfish, and
That's
that's
angelfish.
that's my
kind of
favorite.
close. Yeah,
They're
angler.
the
yeah,
opposite
they're
of
my
an
favorite.
angel.
I love the idea
They're
of a
cool
creature
looking.
that
I like
their
them. Yeah.
existence, they have evolved to have a trap as part of their body.
Yep.
And they just sit in the dark, staring at this light in front of them, just waiting. And I think that's one of the creepiest things.
Oh yeah, they're wild. It's great.
They're so cool. Yeah. And like spoilers for Outer Wilds. But there are space anglerfish in Outer Wilds, and I think that's some of the most scared I've ever been in a game.
There we go.
Is encountering them and just like fucking shitting myself. It's terrifying.
Yeah. Those are the one that comes to mind immediately.
God.
Because my initial response to the question is like the boring one that's kind of boring that's but hard to say no to is the anglerfish, because the anglerfish looks terrifying. It's evolutionarily interesting, and then there's also the blobfish, which is just like strange looking and interesting. But I'm gonna go with the cookie cutter shark, and I don't remember
shark.
The cookie cutter shark is a small squaliform shark. It like, I don't remember exactly all the details about it, but I remember as a kid learning about fish and sharks, and then finding the cookie cutter shark, and I liked the name, I think. And then I remember it had some weird way of eating. It had like a flat little circular mouth. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Eric. That's a cookie cutter shark.
Yeah. Wow. That is.
I'm pretty sure it's a deep sea creature.
That's some nightmare fuel right there for sure.
Yeah, you can stay down there if it wants.
Yeah, they're pretty small, but the way they eat is, here we go. They would like they'd bite a circle into the body of like a fucking whale or another fish, and they would feed, and then they'd leave, and then that fish would have a scar the size of a circle forever.
Cookie cutter, got it.
Yep.
Also,
Yeah,
like
cookie
some
cutter,
things
exactly.
like
Right, now the
things,
name
it's
makes
not a
sense, yeah.
scavenger.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember exactly the details. I'm reading about it now, but I remember as a kid being like, "Whoa, cool cookie cutter!" Haha! Like that was my that's my favorite deep sea creature.
Yeah, okay, because it would cookie cut a circle out of the monster, the sea creature, and leave. Right.
That's spoken like a person afraid of the deep sea.
I am definitely terrified of the ocean.
Ocean's it is a terrifying.
Yeah, I have thalassophobia. I
agree with
Markiplier
Markiplier on that front. That shit's scary.
Yeah.
Ludo could tell I was scared. She's come over.
Oh, look at that mouse. Go on, Jay. Yeah.
Nah, that's all good. I'm just going to read out the other one. Sussy Guru 2000, €5. Thank you. It says, my favorite modding project is the source code project for FreeSpace 1 and 2.
Ooh.
About that?
Ooh, we talked about FreeSpace a little bit. Oh, so I have. Sorry,
Shiv, you're the gif right now of Antonio Banderas going like this, leading back.
Yeah.
You know the one. Yeah, that's. Go on.
Wait, is he talking about like the modding project that's like updating all the graphics and visuals to bring it to like modern day?
Favorite modding project is the source code project for FreeSpace 1 and 2. So I'd assume so. You'll have a better guess than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know of like FreeSpace 1 and 2, there's a huge modding scene for them. And they have been like revamping the engine and bringing in graphical updates, high-res textures, way better visuals and lighting and everything, particle effects. It's been a while since they've done stuff. I think they're still updating and everything. But FreeSpace, one of my all-time favorite games. I think just like hands down that has the greatest cinematic intro I have ever experienced. I'm really fond of MechWarrior. I love the MechWarrior intros, but the FreeSpace intro is something else. The first FreeSpace, the voice acting in that, and just the air of like existential dread and terror of that intro, because the pilot is freaking out. His ship is horribly ripped apart, and he's hauling ass as fast as he can. And he's just like screaming. He's like, "Oh God, they're following me! I need help right now!" And then it's like a wide shot, and there's nothing around him. There's nothing. and he finally gets in contact with someone. He's like, and they're like, hey, you know, what's up? And he's like, they're following me. You got to send everything out you have right now. I swear they're following me. And she's like, there's nothing on radar. What are you talking about? It's fine. Everything's fine. And then it's not fine. Like, and then shit goes south. It's so cool. It's like one of the sickest reveals, and the way they just like they portray it, man. Oh my god, that intro gives me goosebumps to this day.
That sounds
it's like
great.
Some old school classic CG too. Yeah, here it is. Here's the video.
Nice.
I love the old 90s CG this looks like. Yeah, this pirate.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's freaking the fuck out. And the one line I think that stands out is the lady on the comms is like, you know, hold tight. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. And he's just like, no, you don't understand. You know, and then the big fucking mothership comes out. The Shivans are actually called the alien race that just comes out of nowhere. He's like, I don't know what they are, man. They wiped out everybody. Oh man, it's so good, dude. I want to know who did the voice actor for this guy. It's like, he killed it. Absolutely killed it. He nailed
old video game intros went hard, as we say.
Oh know? Yeah, I love that shit.
I mean, there's still games that have awesome intros. I have a sense that they used to go harder, like they were a bigger deal to have in a game. You certainly don't see them as much anymore. Yeah. But there used to be some really awesome ones. And actually, we had Pete Blumel on a few shows ago, Shiv, and you might like. In a segment, he talks about working on the team doing the MechWarrior 2 intro, I think, or 3. I can't remember. So
there were several MechWarrior 2 intros because you had all the expansions. You had
Mercenaries and
Ghost Bear's Legacy, and oh god, there's a third one. I think I don't remember. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, good stuff.
Lost Ark.
I love those intros. Yeah.
Yep.
Colton Dev gives $10. Says 2.10 when.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a real funny story about that. 2.10, you know, it's probably gonna
Shiv, we're losing you, bud. I think we're getting a camera.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Did the hurricane swoop you under your desk?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have no idea when 2.10. I can't say. I can never say. You know. Speaking of the hurricane, yeah, it's my power hasn't gone out, which is good. It was
so fill me in on that though. So 2.10 is this a long-awaited patch?
Yeah, we've been working on 2.10 for a while. So 2.9.3 was the last update for RLCraft. That came out when? Fani, help! I don't remember. It's been a year at least now. And we've been talking about 2.10 and just kind of like steadily working on it. For a while now, and then we've taken breaks, then we've come back, and then took some more breaks, and have come back, and there was some stuff we were waiting for, and so and we had some dev streams showing off some of the things we're working on. Yeah, go on.
June 2023. Does that sound right?
Yeah, so it's been over a year now. But yeah, so
well, why don't you tell us maybe what we're gonna find in 2.10 for people who are chomping at the bit?
Lightning dragons. I revealed that before. Okay. That was
what haven't you revealed? I told you I'd put the squeeze on you, Shiv.
I don't know. We don't usually do like the hush hush keep it secret kind of thing. You know, like I've done dev streams where we show off lightning dragons and the work on it, and I was actually kind of like rigging them in the animations. For like flying and everything, which we finally worked out a major issue with that. That's a whole other story. So lightning dragons, and then we have like the distinct damage description mod, which is going to add something I've always wanted to do, which is adding D&D like damage types. So just for example, we have like the 3. Now we're going to have the 3 like physical, like you have slashing damage, blunt damage, and piercing damage. And I can specify what weapons do what. Then I can specify each mob and what they're weak, like resistant to or vulnerable to, you know? So skeletons will have a bit of resistance to pierce, you know, because they're bones. Your spear's just kind of going right through their you know. But they're going to be weak to blunt. because their bones are showing, and fragile, blunt, shatter the bone, whatever, so I'm taking like a realistic approach to it. Yeah, I'm not the first person to do that, obviously. Like I think every game with skeletons and distinct damage stuff like that always does resist to pierce, vulnerable to blunt. That's just kind of the way.
But it's within your vision, for deep systems, etc.
Yeah, so. But I have to worry about like 500 other creatures because we have Lycanites mobs in there, and ice and fire and everything else. So, I've been going through and designing all that. But we have a lot of 2.10 is gonna have a lot of like good performance and quality of life things. Good. The stuff that I can't really do. Again, these are people like Fani and Kotlin, Meldix, and all these people on my mod team who are very, very just amazing at coding.
How big's the team, by the way?
It's really like.
Is it hard to say because you have contributors, then you have like heavily invested people?
Well, and like people just kind of come and go as the situations arise or whatever. It's not like we don't have like a hard set. I think we have like a few main people like Fani, Meldixon, Ray, Kotlin now, who's new. We're all constantly kind of working on something. And then there's a bunch of other people that just kind of come in and help out from time to time when we need things, like especially with other modders, like Zero, who is the creator of the Trinkets and Baubles mod. He has come in throughout the months as we're getting 2.10 ready to help update stuff. Same with Oblivion, who is the developer of Spartan Weaponry. Young has also stopped in. I think Young is still here to help us with a couple things. I don't know if we've done 2.10 stuff specifically with Young stuff. We had some updates to roguelike dungeons that are coming out in 2.10. There's the painting mod. We can now insert our own paintings, which is fun.
Cool.
Oh, and the biggest remember you were talking about like fun little details that really don't matter, but I'm doing it just for fun. Fani and I have overhauled how cutting down a tree works.
Okay.
So there was a mod that was an offshoot of dynamic trees, which is what we have in RLCraft. Dynamic trees, just when you chop a tree down, the whole tree actually falls over and then it pops into the items that you would get instead of the floating one block at a time. Dramatic trees is a branch of dynamic trees that added sound effects when it falls, and then also a very kind of like baseline system for collision to be able to like hit other trees as it's falling and knock down that tree. But then we took that to the next level where Fani basically reworked that whole system and added a bunch more to the collision system. So now as trees fall, if they clip branches, they'll actually just slice the branches off of the tree that it's scraping against. It can knock over other trees and domino. We can set up a whole list of what blocks it should be able to break. So now if a tree falls on your window, it will actually just smash the glass because it's fun.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like we went
you'll
crazy
be cooking at the furnace and your friend is cutting down a tree outside and then he's oh, what? And he goes, sorry.
It's like the most mundane, rudimentary task in Minecraft in general that you don't think about. And we're adding all these wacky features to it to go like super realistic, and it's just for fun. It pretty much adds no gameplay value.
That would be
to
something that would have sold me though, right? Like if I was inside tending to the house and then somebody was chopping a tree down and the act of them doing it smashed a window.
Yeah, or
I can just replace that window, but it's that game feel, it's that like roleplay thing of like, for fuck's sake.
Right. I've specified like which blocks it can break and everything, like weaker blocks, wool and glass and other things. It's gonna be fun.
Did you say it was there was dynamic trees and there was also dramatic trees? Did I hear that right? There was like a second.
Dramatic trees is the branch of dynamic trees. It's still dynamic trees,
right?
But that branch was called dramatic trees, and then we're making our own branch of dramatic. Wait, Fani, did we make that standalone or was it just? I don't know if we just RL mixing that. I don't remember if we were standaloning it or not. But anyway.
I only mention it because the name made me think of like a Laurence Olivier Shakespeare actor type, but he's a tree.
Trees, yeah.
And then he gets cut down and he goes, oh, it has to be a dramatic tree death to fit.
It's modifying it at runtime. Okay, so we're just using mixins to hook into it currently. We haven't had to we haven't had a need to make it its own thing. But like the license of dynamic trees, and this is actually a cool thing about modding, is people usually just do like the GNU license, which means you can kind of take it and make your own version of it and everything as long as it's credited, which is super cool. So that's why dramatic trees is able to just work off of dynamic trees and release it as its own thing, just because it's a little tweak of it and the license is very chill about it, which is cool.
So cool. I love it.
Yeah. I love modding. It's great.
Last dono from Colton Dev again, $10. Thank you so much. It says, I've heard a lot about Dragora RLCraft, which will be released officially as a mod pack on CurseForge pretty soon. I heard that you created an awesome trailer for it. What are your thoughts on it?
Is this somebody who's in the know? This is like somebody sneaky on their alt account who's
Kotlin
in the
Dev.
Kotlin Dev.
Kotlin. Okay, yeah, Kotlin.
I pronounced their name wrong. Sorry, Kotlin Dev. Yeah.
Kotlin's on my dev team. He wants me to talk about Dragora.
Sneaky. You made a trailer?
Yes, it's not released yet. However, if I can throw some clips in the thing if you want to show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sure. Eric, you good?
This is gonna be one of the things we are keeping a little hush hush. Only because this RLCraft Dragora is going to be the very first official spin-off pack of RLCraft. So it's still RLCraft, but with its own kind of unique twist, I suppose. Right? And this is something people have kind of asked us to do for a while. Because we host a server called the Echo server where we do RLCraft with a twist every 3 months, where we kind of fundamentally change how RLCraft will be played by, adding or removing a mod or changing dynamics or gameplay or something. And some of them have turned out to be really fun. Dragora, and let me pull up. I have to find 1 second. I'm not good at multitasking, so it's hard for me to it's hard for me to talk and also.
No, find your clips. It's all good.
Go for it.
I will. Yeah, I'll throw in a couple videos here to show what it's kind of all about. Here's one file. Here's another. Let me find the really, really cool one. Is it this one?
Okay.
Yeah.
Save and share. Yeah.
So you can throw some of these up if you'd like. Dragora is a project by two guys called Black Eagle and Black Heaven, who are two Dutch guys that have their own kind of it's like a map generator kind of project, where they have this world that is created. It's a set world, but it's also not. So it's not particularly an adventure map. It's more like you have painted regions that will always spawn a certain thing, but what's in them is procedural. You know what I mean? And then there are also set locations and stuff. And they started merging it with RLCraft because they loved RLCraft so much, like 2 years ago. So this project has been ongoing for a long time. So it's Dragora and RLCraft coming together to create a very unique experience. A lot of stuff is specifically written now for RLCraft in their Dragora version for RLCraft. It's a little weird. But yeah, like that clip there says persistent regions mixed with procedural generation. You can kind of see some of the unique biomes and stuff that it's going to have. It has 300 new structures. It has a bajillion new biomes. It has, more importantly, the world itself is its own kind of story. So there's a good bit of lore and things to discover about the world. It has its own unique creatures and monsters and things to fight, and like I said, there's unique locations, there's unique villager trading and stuff.
Wow. What makes the generation different though? Because as far as I understand, a lot of the regions are already procedurally generated.
Well, it's not using Minecraft's terrain generation at all for one.
Okay.
And this is sculpt. So okay, this trench you're seeing right now wouldn't generate normally in any other like terrain generator. This is something that is hand painted by Eagle and Haven that they were doing for their Dragora project, and I can't spoil too much because I want the players to discover.
Sure. You can't spoil other people's work. Fair enough.
Right. No, well, I mean, it is our work, and we just want to keep it like, I love the sense of discovery, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm always a big fan of sense of discovery. So yeah, Eagle and Heaven, they have these. I wish I could pull up the map. I don't have the map for it. That would actually be a spoiler. But there's there's, like I said, it's kind of hand painted, and it's using OTG, which is a type of terrain generation. But it's all manually done. Like, they have handcrafted the biomes and how they would generate. They use blocks and assets from Biomes of Plenty, which is a big biome mod that people know, but it's not going to generate like Biomes of Plenty. Like, Biomes of Plenty's biomes are not technically in RLCraft Dragora because they're not using it as the base for their generation. They're just using the assets to create all new, custom, never before seen biomes, kind of like this big ass volcano thing you're seeing, right? So yeah, it is a little wacky to wait, your beard's gone.
I know. I'm sorry, I'm listening.
No,
but Eric's fucking with me.
Now you're bald.
I have shaved my head at least 1 or 2 times.
Oh, your face is gone.
No, I'm just wait. Let me do. It's like I'm doing an interview.
Eric, is this your way of telling us that we need to start wrapping up? Because we're degrading. We're becoming lesser. Yeah, that mod sounds super interesting to me, especially like that gives me I love those jumping off points for either your own creations or your exploration. You know, don't get me wrong, I love the procedural generation of Minecraft, but having that little spark of interest to see where you want to go or what you want to build, I think is really beautiful. And it sounds like you guys are putting a lot of effort into that without going into too many spoilers. So that's
right.
That's
Yeah, no, this is a huge amount of work. We're on the cusp of release. We're like right there. You know, we just got to get over the finish line. I have this trailer pretty much entirely done. I just need to we're still designing the logo, actually.
Where will that be posted, the full trailer, once it's done?
The trailer is going to be on my YouTube channel.
Awesome.
And then it will be a separate mod pack that you download from CurseForge.
On CurseForge. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing, Shivaxi. Can you let our viewers know where they can find you if they want to see more content from you, stuff on your YouTube channel and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you Google Shivaxi and pretty much all my socials come on. It's kind of the benefit of having a unique name. But yeah, it's YouTube/Shivaxi, Twitch/Shivaxi, whatever else, really. Just my Discord where we kind of post dev updates and stuff. So yeah, it's what video editor, somebody asked. Oh, that was Eric. I did the text tracking is in After Effects, and then I'm doing everything in Vegas to put all the clips together.
Nice.
Yeah,
good choice.
I'm excited for it. It's gonna be really cool. I think there's so much unique stuff. There's unique mobs and unique stories. There's like set locations, like there's a town, for example, like a big town that will always be there, right, at that location. But everything around it is still procedural. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit of, you know, kind of the inner workings of it. It's like it's a mix of not really a set
like
map,
right up my street.
Yeah.
Your passion is clear, dude. Right on. The fire is still alive. The magic is alive and well.
If anybody's wondering, this is what's been delaying 2.10. We were trying to get Dragora out. So but this will hopefully hold people over until 2.10. So yeah, there's a lot of Easter egg secrets and surprises in Dragora. I'm super excited for people to discover. It's gonna be fun.
I'm sold. I'm so sold. I'm looking forward to that trailer as well. And that's going to be on your channel, right, Shivaxi?
Yeah, I'm going to upload it to my channel and everything. Yep.
Beautiful. This has genuinely been, not counting the delay we had at the beginning, which was nobody's fault, but this has, I think, been the longest episode we've ever done. Just because I think we've all been so enraptured about just discussing mods and like the passion and the love for it. So, Shivaxi, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been great. Super fun. So
yeah.
happy
thank you, man.
You know, yeah.
And before we go, yeah, if you guys enjoy this content, we got loads more stuff coming up. And we've got a bunch of streams, lots more horror content coming up on Second Wind. And all of the shows that you know and love, my brain is like frazzled. It's the end of the week. So there is content and it's coming, including more stuff from me and everyone here at Second Wind. But yeah, everyone in chat, thank you so much for being so engaged. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.